Have you ever received news so devastating that time just stops? Where the world around you keeps moving, but you're frozen in a moment of absolute terror? That's exactly where I was 3 years ago, standing in a hospital hallway, watching doctors walk away from my daughter's room with nothing left to offer. They had given up. But what happened next? I still can't talk about it without tears. Stay with me, because by the end of this story, you'll understand why I'll never doubt the power of prayer again. It was a Tuesday morning. Isn't it strange how the worst days of our lives often start so ordinary? I was making breakfast, pancakes, my daughter Emma's favorite, when my wife Sarah screamed from upstairs. That scream. I'll hear it for the rest of my life. I dropped everything and ran. When I got to Emma's room, my 7-year-old daughter was convulsing on the floor, her eyes rolled back, foam coming from her mouth. Sarah was on the phone with 911, her hands shaking so violently she could barely hold the phone. The ambulance arrived in what felt like hours but was probably 7 minutes. They rushed Emma to Children's Hospital. The whole ride there, I held her small hand in mine. It was burning hot with fever. 104 degrees, one of the paramedics said. But that wasn't even the scariest part. Emma wasn't waking up. My little girl, who never stopped talking, who asked a million questions about everything, was completely silent. At the hospital, they ran test after test. CT scans, MRIs, blood work, spinal tap. Each test came back, and each time, the doctors' faces grew more concerned. Finally, around midnight, Dr. Richards, this older doctor with kind eyes that I'll never forget, pulled Sarah and me into a small consultation room. You know those rooms, right? The ones with the box of tissues on the table and uncomfortable chairs. The rooms where bad news lives. Your daughter has bacterial meningitis, he said. It's an aggressive strain. We've started her on antibiotics, but... He paused, and in that pause, my whole world tilted. But it's spreading fast. The infection has already caused significant swelling in her brain. The next 48 hours are critical. Critical. That word hung in the air like a death sentence. What are her chances? I asked. My voice barely a whisper. Dr. Richards looked down at his hands. I'm going to be honest with you. We're doing everything we can, but with the speed this is progressing, you should prepare yourselves, and you should call your family. Anyone you'd want here should come now. Anyone we'd want here. He was telling us to say goodbye. Sarah collapsed, just completely broke down. I caught her, held her. But inside I was shattering into a million pieces. This couldn't be happening. Not to Emma. Not to our bright, beautiful, vibrant little girl, who just yesterday was showing me her cartwheel in the backyard. We spent that night in Emma's ICU room. She was hooked up to so many machines, ventilator, feeding tubes, IVs in both arms, monitors everywhere, beeping constantly. Her little body looked so small in that big hospital bed. So fragile. I held her hand and talked to her, even though she couldn't hear me. I told her about all the things we were going to do when she got better. The trip to Disney World we'd been planning, her upcoming birthday party, how proud I was of her. But inside I was terrified, because what if there was no when she got better? What if this was it? By the second day, things got worse. The doctors increased her medications, but the swelling in her brain wasn't going down. In fact, it was getting worse. Emma's fever spiked to 106. Her body started having seizures every few hours. Each time, nurses would rush in, and we'd be pushed back against the wall, watching helplessly as they tried to stabilize her. On the morning of the third day, Dr. Richards came in with 2 other doctors. Their faces told me everything before they even spoke. The infection isn't responding to any of the antibiotics we've tried, Dr. Richards said. Her brain swelling is critical. Her organs are starting to fail. We've run out of options. What does that mean? Sarah asked, though we both knew. It means we've done everything medical science can do, I'm so sorry. It's in God's hands now. God's hands. Here's the thing. I'd been a Christian my whole life. Went to church most Sundays. Prayed before meals. But if I'm being honest, my faith was comfortable. It was routine. It was something I did, not something I lived. It certainly wasn't something I'd ever had to depend on for anything serious. But standing there with doctors telling me they'd given up on my daughter, something shifted inside me. Because suddenly, God's hands weren't just a nice phrase people say. They were literally the only hands left that could save her. I asked the doctors for a moment alone with Emma. They nodded and left. Sarah and I stood on either side of our daughter's bed. Sarah was crying so hard she could barely breathe. Emma's skin was pale, almost gray. The machines were doing most of the work of keeping her alive. This beautiful, perfect little girl we'd raised, whose first word was Dada, whose laugh could light up a room, she was slipping away. And I got angry. Not at God, at myself. For all the times I'd treated prayer like a formality. For all the Sundays I'd checked my phone during the sermon. For treating my faith like a hobby instead of a lifeline. I'd been so comfortable in my Christianity that I'd never actually needed God for anything real, until now. I fell to my knees beside Emma's bed. I didn't care about the cold hospital floor, or the nurses who might see through the window. I didn't care about anything except my daughter, and I prayed, but this wasn't like any prayer I'd ever prayed before. This wasn't, God bless this food, or thank you for this day. This was raw, desperate, broken. God, I said out loud, my voice cracking. I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but please, please don't take her. She's innocent. She's just a child. If you need to punish someone, punish me. Take me instead. But please, please let her live. I'm begging you. I need a miracle. We need a miracle. Sarah grabbed my hand and started praying too. We prayed for hours. We called our pastor, and he came immediately. 2 a.m. And he dropped everything to be there. He stood with us and prayed. We called our parents, our friends from church, everyone we knew who believed. And they prayed. By morning, our church had organized a prayer chain. Hundreds of people were praying for Emma, people we didn't even know. The nurses told us that the hospital chapel was full of people from our congregation holding a prayer vigil. But Emma kept getting worse. By the evening of the 4th day, the machines were doing everything. Breathing for her, supporting her blood pressure, filtering her blood. Dr. Richards came in and gently suggested we might want to discuss next steps. He meant taking her off life support. I couldn't even process those words. That night was the darkest of my life. Sarah had finally fallen asleep from exhaustion in the chair next to Emma's bed. I stood at the window, looking out at the city lights, and I felt completely hollow, empty, like everything good had been scooped out of me. I prayed again, but this time it was different. I wasn't bargaining anymore. I wasn't angry. I was just surrendering. God, I whispered, I don't understand this. I don't understand why this is happening. But I trust you. Even if I lose her, even if you take her home to be with you, I trust that you're good. I trust that you have a plan. I'm putting her completely in your hands. Your will, not mine. And then I felt it. Peace. Not happiness. Not relief. But this overwhelming sense of peace that made absolutely no logical sense. My daughter was dying and I felt peace. I can't explain it. It wasn't natural. It was supernatural. It was like God himself wrapped his arms around me and whispered, I've got this. I climbed into the hospital bed with Emma, carefully, trying not to disturb any of her tubes, and I held her. I sang her the lullaby I used to sing when she was a baby. I told her I loved her, and then I fell asleep. I woke up to Sarah shaking me. The sun was coming through the window. I'd slept for maybe 3 hours. Her fever, Sarah said, her voice strange. Her fever broke. I looked at the monitor. 99.8 degrees. Still high but not critical. The first time in 5 days, it had been under 100. Within an hour, Dr. Richards came rushing in. He'd been called by the nurses. He checked Emma's charts, looked at the monitors, examined her. His face was confused. "I don't understand," he kept saying. "This doesn't make sense." Emma's brain swelling had decreased significantly. Her organs were stabilizing. Her vitals were improving across the board. "What did you do?" Dr. Richards asked me. "We prayed," I said simply. He nodded slowly, like he was processing something beyond his medical training. "Well, keep praying, because I've never seen anything like this." Over the next 48 hours, Emma continued to improve, slowly but steadily. By day 7, she squeezed my hand. By day 9, she opened her eyes. By day 12, she whispered, "Daddy." I sobbed. Sarah sobbed. The nurses cried. Even Dr. Richards had tears in his eyes. "This is medically impossible," he told us privately. "The damage we saw on those scans, she should have severe brain damage at minimum. She should be in a vegetative state, but she's not just stable, she's improving. Her brain scans are clearing up. It's like the damage is reversing itself. In 30 years of medicine, I've never seen this. But I knew what it was. It was God. It was hundreds of people praying. It was faith moving mountains." Emma spent another 3 weeks in the hospital, going through physical therapy and occupational therapy. The doctors kept running tests, kept checking for damage they were certain had to be there, but every test came back clear. Better than clear. Normal. 6 weeks after that terrible Tuesday morning, we brought Emma home. She's 10 now, completely healthy, no lasting effects, no brain damage, no developmental delays. She runs, she plays soccer, she's at the top of her class at school. Her doctors call her their miracle patient. They literally wrote a paper about her case because they can't explain it medically. But I can explain it. God intervened. When doctors gave up, when medicine failed, when hope was gone, God showed up. You know what changed, though? Me. I'm not the same person I was before this happened. My faith isn't comfortable anymore. It's real. It's tested. It's proven. I don't just believe in God. I know God. I've seen Him work. I've felt His presence. I've witnessed His power. And I pray differently now. Every single morning I pray for Emma. I thank God for every breath she takes. Every laugh, every eye roll when I tell a dad joke. I don't take a single moment for granted, because I know what it's like to think you're losing it all. I also pray for other families going through similar situations, because I know that terror. I know that helplessness. And I know that God is still in the miracle business. People ask me sometimes, what if God hadn't healed her? What if she had died? Would you still believe? It's a fair question. And honestly, I struggled with it for a while. But here's what I realized. God is good whether He says yes or no to our prayers. My job isn't to understand His plan. My job is to trust Him. Even in the valley of the shadow of death, even in the darkest hospital room, even when doctors give up, God is there. And He's good. Emma knows her story. She knows she was dying and God saved her. And you know what she says? She says God must have big plans for her life because He fought so hard to keep her here. And I believe she's right. So if you're going through something impossible right now, if you've received devastating news, if doctors have given up, if you're out of options, please don't give up on prayer. Don't underestimate God. He's not limited by medical science or statistics or probability. He's God. And He's still performing miracles. I'm living proof. Emma is living proof. We serve a God who specializes in impossible situations. A God who shows up when all hope is gone. A God who turns tragedy into testimony. I thought I was going to lose my daughter. But God had other plans. He intervened. He answered hundreds of prayers. He performed a miracle. And if He can do it for us, He can do it for you too. Never stop praying. Never stop believing. Never stop having faith. Because with God, all things are possible. All things.